Hello there, Toon Army. Wonderful day to chat about our magnificent Newcastle United, isn't it? The sun always shines a bit brighter when we're talking about the best team in the world. What do you think about Nathan Collins as a potential alternative to Mark Guehi for our defensive lineup? Would he truly be the outstanding fit that some are suggesting? And how excited are you about the prospect of Champions League football potentially bringing in an extra 70 million to strengthen our squad for next season? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Our beloved Newcastle United are clearly not messing about this summer when it comes to strengthening our defence. Eddie Howe has made it crystal clear that bringing in a quality right-sided centre-back is one of his top priorities, and it's wonderful to see the club being so proactive in identifying multiple targets rather than putting all our eggs in one basket. While Mark Guehi remains our top transfer target, according to reports from Geordie Boot Boys, we're casting our net wider and keeping our options open. I personally think this is a brilliant strategy from our recruitment team. We all know how quickly the transfer market can change, and having alternatives ready to go could be the difference between a successful summer window and a frustrating one. Nathan Collins is emerging as one of those alternatives, and I have to say, I'm quite excited about this possibility. The Brentford defender has been steadily improving year after year in the Premier League, and at just 24 years old, he's got his best years ahead of him. According to Graham Bailey from TBR Football, Collins would be an outstanding fit for Newcastle United. Coming from a trusted source like Bailey, that's high praise indeed. What makes Collins such an interesting prospect is his development trajectory. He's consistently gotten better with each passing season, proving himself as a terrific Premier League defender in Bailey's words. And we're not the only ones who've noticed. Apparently Arsenal are also keeping tabs on him, which tells you everything you need to know about his quality. When top clubs are circling, you know you're looking at real talent. The Irishman made his move to Brentford from Wolves for around $23 million in 2023, signing a lengthy 6-year contract. That long contract does complicate matters somewhat, as it gives Brentford significant negotiating power, unlike their stance on Brian Mbeumo, who they seem more willing to part with for the right price. Reportedly in excess of 60 million, they might be more determined to hold on to Collins. According to the iPaper, Brentford aren't under financial pressure to sell any of their stars this summer. While they might accept that Mbeumo has earned his chance at a bigger club, they could dig their heels in when it comes to Collins. This means we might have to put together a compelling financial package to tempt them into selling. What I love about this potential signing is that it shows the club is thinking long-term. Collins isn't just a quick fix. He's a player who could grow with us over the coming years as we establish ourselves as a Champions League club. I know that's getting ahead of ourselves a bit, but isn't it wonderful to be able to think in those terms now? The defensive partnership possibilities are particularly exciting. Imagine Collins alongside Sven Botman when the Dutchman returns from injury, or even alongside Fabian Schär. In the short term, we'd have a backline that combines experience and youth, with players who are comfortable on the ball and strong in the air. That's exactly what Eddie Howe's system demands. It's worth noting that we've also been linked with Wilfried Singo and Dean Huyson, although reports suggest we might miss out on the latter. To me, this indicates that our recruitment team has a clear profile in mind for what they want: young, technically proficient defenders who can handle the physical demands of the Premier League. Collins ticks all of those boxes. The fact that we're looking at multiple targets also suggests that the club is prepared to move quickly when the transfer window opens. We've seen in previous windows how important it is to get business done early, allowing new signings to have a full pre-season with the squad. If we can wrap up a deal for either Guehi or Collins shortly after the window opens, it would be a real statement of intent. There's one more aspect to consider regarding Collins specifically: his familiarity with Premier League football. Unlike a signing from abroad who might need time to adapt to the pace and physicality of English football, Collins is already well acclimatized. He could hit the ground running at St. James's Park, which could be crucial as we potentially prepare for Champions League football. Whatever happens, it's clear that Eddie Howe and the recruitment team are building something special here. The focus on young, talented players who can grow with the club shows that we're not just thinking about next season, but about sustained success for years to come. And that, more than anything, is why I'm so excited about the direction our beloved Newcastle United is heading in. The win against Chelsea on Sunday was nothing short of magical, wasn't it? A 2-0 victory that has put us on the very brink of Champions League qualification. I don't know about you, but I can barely sleep these days, thinking about the prospect of those famous Champions League nights returning to St. James Park. Just imagine the atmosphere under the floodlights with Europe's elite coming to our cathedral on the hill. What makes this achievement even more remarkable is how Eddie Howe has managed to navigate through a string of injuries to key players. Sunday's match saw Howe make 2 changes to his squad, with both Joe Willock and Kieran Trippier missing out due to injury. The gaffer has even admitted that their seasons could be over, which is a blow, but it opened the door for Anthony Gordon to return to the starting excellence. And didn't he do brilliantly? We've also got to face the reality that Joelinton's season is expected to be over due to that lingering knee issue. It's been a strange paradox this season. When our strongest players have been available, Howe has barely had to change his starting lineup, but now he's being forced to adapt. The mark of a great manager is how they respond to adversity, and Howe is showing his quality by continuing to get results despite these challenges. What's particularly exciting about our current position is what football journalist Julian Lorenz recently revealed about the financial implications of Champions League qualification. Speaking on the Kelly and Righty show, Lorenz gave us a fascinating insight into just how transformative Champions League football could be for our beloved club. According to Lorenz, qualification for the group stages of the new Champions League format, plus a potential playoff place, would be worth an astonishing 60 to 70 million in additional revenue. Just let that sink in for a moment. That's $60 to $70 million extra in our budget, purely from qualification, before we even kick a ball in the competition. And that's not counting the additional matchday revenue, merchandise sales, and commercial opportunities that come with being in Europe's premier club competition. This financial boost couldn't come at a better time. We all remember the PSR headaches from last summer, where the club had to be so careful with their spending to avoid running into trouble with the Premier League's financial regulations. But things are already looking much brighter on that front, with the new Adidas deal and increased commercial revenue putting us in a much stronger position. Add Champions League money to that, and suddenly we're talking about serious financial muscle. Lawrence highlighted just how important this could be for retaining our best players. As he put it, with Champions League football, you don't have to sell an Anderson, for example. You can keep Miley, you can keep Bruno. That's absolutely crucial. Keeping this talented core together is essential if we want to continue our upward trajectory. But there's one player in particular who Lawrence singled out as being especially important to keep hold of: Alexander Isak. Isak especially, Lawrence said, because Isak of all of them is the one that has to say, I need to play Champions League football. I'm too good not to play Champions League football. And he's absolutely right, isn't he? A player of Isak's Caliber belongs on the biggest stage. With Champions League football, we can probably keep him for at least another season. And what a difference that would make. Just imagining Isak banging in goals against Europe's elite has me grinning from ear to ear. All eyes are now on the massive clash against Arsenal at the Emirates this Sunday. It's almost poetic how the fixture list has worked out. We're potentially just one win away from confirming our return to the Champions League, and it could come against one of the league's top sides. If we can win, we'd actually leapfrog Mikel Arteta's side into second place. Second place in the Premier League. Can you believe how far we've come? Even a point could be enough if other results go our way. Villa need to beat Tottenham, and Nottingham Forest face a trip to West Ham, in what's a must-win game for them. The permutations are many, but the simple fact is this. We're inches away from achieving what so many thought was impossible just a short time ago. Eddie Howe deserves enormous credit for what he's achieved. When he arrived, the club was fighting relegation, and now here we are, on the cusp of Champions League football. It's a truly remarkable transformation, and it's not just about the results. It's the way we're playing, the spirit in the squad, the connection with the fans. This is Newcastle United as we always dreamed it could be. The players clearly want Champions League football as badly as we do. You can see it in their performances, in their celebrations, in their determination to get over the line. They're nearly there now. Just one final push needed to realize that goal. And when that final whistle blows, confirming our place among Europe's elite, St. James's Park will erupt like never before. So what's next? Well, first and foremost, we need to finish the job this weekend. But beyond that, an exciting summer awaits, with $150 million reportedly available to spend, potentially bolstered by that Champions League windfall. We could see some exciting additions to the squad. We'll need them too. Competing on multiple fronts next season will require depth, as well as quality. The future looks incredibly bright for our beloved Newcastle United. Champions League nights under the lights at St. James Park. Potential new signings, strengthening an already talented squad, and the continued development of the exciting young players already at the club. We truly are witnessing a new golden era for the black and whites. Well, that's all from St. James's Park for today, lads and lasses. Keep supporting the best team in the world, and I'll be back with more updates soon. The Champions League awaits, and Newcastle United are ready to take their rightful place among Europe's elite. Away the lads! Lads!